Wuthering Waves has players, but does it have a community? And this is more like an EN problem, but if you play Wuthering Waves or you have heard of this game on the English-speaking Western side of things, let me know if you feel the same way as me, because I've been realizing that in the West, Wuthering Waves has basically become a side gacha game, in my opinion. Like, don't get it twisted, I see a very few minority of like super fans, a very small local vocal minority. Don't worry, I see you guys, but that is very few and far between, especially in 2026. Wuthering Waves just doesn't have that many diehard fans here. Like, based on what I see online, it's a bunch of people who are casually interested. There's a lot of low engagement, recycled guides that never really update, and take it from me, any Wuthering Waves focused content creator is pretty much struggling to grow for the most part. The EN Wuthering Waves community feels hella fractured. It almost feels non-existent at points. Everybody has their own reason for playing this game and has different opinions on the game. This is both good and bad because it means a lot of EN players aren't so quick to accept just about anything that this game or company does. But on the bad side of things, there's like very little, virtually no genuine support for this game here. And that's not necessarily the EN side of things' fault. It wasn't always like this. When Wuthering Waves came on the scene, there wasn't as much Genshin killers, as they say. So competition wasn't as steep, but there was a lot of demand. Optimization aside, if you could actually get the game to run when it first came out, Wuthering Waves built its identity on its gameplay. The moment-to-moment gameplay, the movement, the combat, the exploration was all peak. It also gained a reputation for competition with Genshin. It was competitively competing monetary wise, like everything in Wuthering Waves was either the same or slightly better than Genshin Impact. But you want to know one thing this game was not known for? Its story. And you know, if you've played any type of gacha games for a long amount of time, you might be able to understand what went wrong here. I think Wuthering Waves built a bad foundation with its player base. What you want from a long-term community is invested players that are in it for the long haul, not people who are literally here just to compete with another gacha game. You got theory crafters, you gotta nourish the creator ecosystem, you need fans to discuss things about the actual game, and you know, people should care about the game beyond the drama. In my opinion, real Wuthering Waves players, like the original Wuthering Waves players, were the antithesis of Genshin players. Much more on the try-hard and sweaty side compared to Genshin players, but the game at a certain point lost that identity, and in my opinion, it was around the Farlova quest era. Don't get me wrong, I loved Farlova's quest, but it was then and there where the game tipped the scales in becoming a combat game to a story game. It started attracting all sorts of gacha players from different games, and the issue was these players were interested in the game, but they just weren't as invested as the OG fans, but they much outnumbered the OG fans, and money talks. So Wuthering Waves basically started listening to these new fans, and Wuthering Waves slowly crept from its old identity towards a more generic Hoyo inspired Wuthering Waves, and that's slowly been happening over time, which has led to the Kuro games you see today, giving us HSR inspired web events for the anniversary. It's basically over. I wasn't around for the launch of Wuthering Waves 1.0. I joined around 2.0, but from what I understood, things were much more about just straight combat, you know, how to master the combat, rotations, builds, challenges, and gameplay. Later, if you look at Wuthering Waves now, it's mostly story reactions, hype for the characters, who to pull for, and what's meta. Not an individual breakdown of character strengths and weaknesses. It's literally just how to build the new best in slot team. To be fair, that is a bit of Kuro Games' fault, because the way they make teams now is that you basically need all the same characters in order to make a team. There's like very little build diversity when it comes to teams in this game, but that's another topic. But let's be honest, for Wuthering Waves at this point is many players' third or fourth side game gacha. If that, a lot of people have outright quit or, you know, take long hiatuses or break in between coming back. And part of this is for how Wuthering Waves runs its game. Like, you really feel those dead patches. The game is amazing at first on a new player experience, but once you reach the end game in this game, it quickly becomes your typical login simulator, just wasting stamina to pull characters and leave. It happens very abruptly and very quickly for a new player. But I think my personal gripe is, as an EN content creator, the scene is extremely weak. It's non-existent at this point. Outside of reacting to things and a few established guide makers, what room is there for growth as a content creator in this game? It feels like there's virtually no support. I could make a topic about damn near anything or any other game, and it feels like it gets more support. I feel like I could make Power of Fantasy videos and get more support from that community. That's a personal thing, but I'm just letting you guys know what it's like on the other side as a content creator. And is this truly the Wuthering Waves fans' fault? Is this an algorithmic issue? Either that or maybe the audience truly just doesn't care about their own game. It just feels like a lot of Wuthering Waves discussion is very shallow or surface level when it comes to the actual game. Like, I'm pretty sure Lucila's quest just came out like 2 weeks ago, and I have not seen any discussions, any lore drops. I haven't seen reactions. Like, the game is extremely, like, people just aren't that invested in this game in general. The only content I see in high demand is like banner videos, like who to get, who to pull, should I get this character. And the weirdest part is Wuthering Waves combat is actually goated. It's got some of the best combat in gacha, besides how, a lot of people complain about how rotations are there's no skill expression, and that is a very true statement. But besides that, it's a subjective opinion, I know, but I feel like Wuthering Waves has some of the best combat, and I think it's kind of squandered on this gacha game, mainly because honestly, I feel like I've been saying this for a while, ever since Tower Fantasy. I feel like combat is one of the least important parts of a gacha. If you want people to stay long term, it's more about the story and the characters. Like, these games are not the games people come to sweat and try hard for the most part. What's worse is when it comes to Wuthering Waves, you can really see that truly nobody cares. Truly nobody cares about how good this combat is. New guides are very hard to break through if you're not an established guide maker. Nobody really cares about the advanced tech. Like, you can make 1,001 videos how to quick swap, but do people actually want to quick swap? And outdated guides are just still prominent, like, especially for unpopular characters. It's hard to find updated advice. At the end of the day, the only thing when it comes to the game is, what are the meta teams, what are the meta characters, what weapons do I need for them, how do I build? It's pretty much as far as the discussion goes for the gameplay. Even though the combat is actually peak, I don't think people are taking advantage of it or truly care. And I saved the best issue for last when it comes to English content creators. This is the elephant in the room, probably the first thing you thought of when you clicked this video, but it's just how much of a meme content creators in this space are. Like, English content creators have created such a bad name for themselves that nobody will ever take us seriously ever again, and I can't blame it. We've become a community of drama frog, and I'll admit I like the drama. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and grandstand. People act like the content creators are the biggest problem, but they wouldn't make this content if people weren't watching that. If you truly hate dramatic EN content creators, you need to block them. You need to stop paying attention to their content. You need to drown out their views. That's the only way we get this to change. If you truly feel like you hate drama, stop watching. Though in my opinion, drama is like, it's natural for people to be invested in drama, whether it be gacha games, celebrities, or whatever. I think a little drama is fine, but not like every single video, like maybe 1 or 2 videos a week. I'll be honest, I find the drama hilarious. I don't mind it, but it's just like, just search up another game outside of gacha gaming content that you enjoy, like, and then look at the content creators. No content creators are talking shit about other content creators. It's just about the video game. And I kind of miss that about Wuthering Waves. Like, if you search Wuthering Waves up, it's a mess. Like, I watch Saint Tontes, and I think he's funny, and that's entertaining, and that's a fun side of the community. I don't take these things seriously, but this drama has eclipsed the actual game to the point where people don't even want to talk about the actual game. They only care about the drama, which creates a space and viewers that only value this type of content, and it pressures smaller content creators to get in on the drama. Once again, people can blame the content creators, but content creators are like fishers, and you guys are like the fish. So if you guys keep falling for the hook, which is the drama content, then more and more English content creators will become drama frogs. I'm not above it, I'm just laying it out. So my final take is that Wuthering Waves, it has players, but it gathers temporary players. And I wouldn't know anything about sponsorships, but does Wuthering Waves, is it really sponsoring people like that? Like, I know a game like Arknights Enfield is out here sponsoring out the woo-ha, but I don't hear about woo-ha sponsoring much people. So that might be another issue going on. People are just not getting paid, so they're not shilling as hard for this game as they might other gacha games. I'm being serious, so we need more people who are actual dedicated fans, people who dedicate their whole existence to a character, like the Zanimains. As much as you want to clown, we need more of that. A better theory craft culture of people actually testing characters, not just because they're the best in slot, but just for the sake of knowing what they can do and the extent of their power. Who knows, you can make another off meta team that work, but nobody tests things. I get it because it's a gacha game, but still, like Genshin players will test every single character. We need healthy content creator growth, which means Wuthering Waves players need to support creators that aren't on the bullshit, and people just need to be more invested in this game if they want to complain about the issues. It seems like people want to complain, but they're not invested in the game, so why are we even complaining? Just go do something else. You know what I mean? I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, I'm just thinking out loud. Wuthering Waves community feels like a bunch of gacha players just passing through to the next gacha game. I feel like we tricked ourselves, and it's just always been this way in the English side of things. Not only that, but it feels like the other global players hate hate English players. It feels like the damn near the whole company hates English players with that dog shit ass anniversary web event I was just watching a video about. Like, I won't lie, it feels after their anniversary, it feels like Core Games is just giving a finger to their Western audience, and they're not really that worried about us, so kind of play at your own risk. Me personally, I'm realizing I just can't be only a Wuthering Waves content creator, even though it's my favorite game. Out of the company does not care about us. It's very obvious. So now I feel like when Genshin released Daya, we gotta move on as an English player base, because they just don't want us here. That's what it feels like. People complain too much, and yeah, they don't like it. How do you guys feel about the English side of things? Do you guys still play Wuthering Waves? I feel like everybody has left this game in the English speaking side of things when it comes to internet communities, but that's all I got. Peace.